This trip was actually to speak to users at 3 different user groups about computer programming, but I added on a couple of days to just kind of enjoy myself, and this was one of those days. I started out the trip actually by going to visit my brother in Massachusetts, and that was kind of a family thing, so I'm not including it here. I drove down to New York, and on Monday I spent the day touring Manhattan, just seeing the sights with Charlie Guarino, who is one of the members of the board of the Long Island Systems User Group, and is also a SME with Klement, and is a friend of mine. So we went on some sightseeing in New York, and that was day one of the trip for me. We took the Long Island Railroad from Bethpage, where Charlie lives and where his office is, into Manhattan, and then from Manhattan we could take the subway to all of the various sites there are to see. We started out by taking the train from Bethpage to Penn Station.
So this is just the train platform. It's not that much to say. Here comes the train. This is going to be our train into the city. So this is Penn Station. We're going to get the train. We're going to go up to Times Square. We're going to pick up our passes. We got a city pass type thing that we get to go to all kinds of attractions. There's the train. And there's Charlie.
Hey! Going to Times Square.
Breakfast that day, I guess you could call it my breakfast, was actually eating a knish while walking up Fifth Avenue in New York. I mean, what could be more New York than that?
I made it here. I'm here. I made it. If I can make it here, I can make it anywhere, right?
So we walked around Times Square a little bit.
Coming into the Times Square area.
Right there.
Studio where Good Morning America is filmed. In Times Square, and there is the New Year's Eve ball. Look up that thing in Times Square. So this is Times Square, New York.
We also went over to Grand Central Terminal. Many people refer to it as Grand Central Station, but the correct name is Grand Central Terminal, perhaps the most famous train station in the world.
This is in Grand Central Terminal in New York. There's Charlie again. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Grand Central Terminal.
So, Grand Central Station? Grand Central Terminal. Sorry, Charlie, I'm sorry. Grand Central Terminal.
Our next stop was to go to the top of the tower at Rockefeller Center.
So this sign is a sign for Top of the Rock, which we're going to go up there. You see, it looks really romantic. Look at that. I don't think Charlie and I will be doing that, though. And then the actual building goes way up there to the top. So we're going to go up to that observation deck up there. Radio City Music Hall is across the street from the building we're in, so I thought it was worth a quick shot. So this is from inside Rockefeller, the Rockefeller Center Tower. We're not at the top, we're not outside yet, we're just looking through the window. Big green area is Central Park. Of course you can see all of the skyscrapers in the New York skyline.
You can see the Statue of Liberty in the distance.
Statue of Liberty, way in the distance. This is the observation deck up on top, Rockefeller Center. Yeah. Central Park. Look at how green it is. It's this sort of green in the middle. It's almost like the atrium of Manhattan. So I just wanted to zoom in a little bit on the Empire State. That's this rather large building here.
After going to the top of the rock at Rockefeller Center, we decided that it was time to get some lunch. Now I have had Chicago style pizza in Chicago. I've had California style pizza in California. I have had St. Louis style pizza in St. Louis. So I really wanted to try having New York style pizza in New York, and Charlie took me to a place called, I think it was called Famous Ray's.
Lunch is at Ray's Pizza. We got a whole spread of stuff here. I don't think we're going to be able to eat all of that, but the New York style pizza, which I really wanted to do, so it's really cool. It's really good.
And after lunch, of course, we ate too much food for lunch. So we decided to get some exercise. We took a nice walk, maybe a mile walk from Famous Ray's down to where we were going to take a cruise. We wanted to go out and see the Statue of Liberty from a boat. And Charlie picked a boat called the Beast.
This boat is called the Beast, and we're going to be taking the trip on this. The Beast.
The Beast, as it turns out, was a speedboat ride. The boat was very fast and very rough and very bumpy, but it was a lot of fun doing that. They played hard rock music, and everybody was kind of getting into the bumps and stuff like that. And crashing into the waves, and it was a lot like a roller coaster ride. It was a lot of fun. And then it stopped by the Statue of Liberty. So here's pictures of the Statue of Liberty.
We're gonna do both sides. And one more pictures. I get you on this side first. Then we're gonna turn the rope. We'll get this side, right? Coming in right now to the statue. Right off to your left.
So I mean, what can you say? The Statue of Liberty is one of the most famous landmarks in the world, if not the most famous landmark in the world. We decided to go see Central Park, another really famous New York landmark.
Central Park. Just at the entrance here at Central Park. With a lake here at Central Park. It's pretty.
Now, when we had been at Rockefeller Center to go to the top of the rock earlier, I thought it would be really fun to see a sort of a tour of NBC's studios. Because, you know, Saturday Night Live is actually taped right there at Rockefeller Center. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of this. NBC requires, they have a strict no cameras rule. But we got to see the studio. We went into the actual studio where they tape SNL, Saturday Night Live, and we sat in the seats that the audience would sit in on that show, and we saw all the different lights, and we saw the stages, and, you know, seen Saturday Night Live on TV a million times, so the stage looks really familiar. And you know, it was really cool just knowing that you were there in this, where Charlie did the weather just as a sort of a demo for the group, and so I got to see Charlie do the weather. We went downtown then, and I wanted to stop and see Ground Zero, which is the site where the World Trade Center buildings used to be prior to 9/11, 2001.
But yeah, it's basically an enormous construction site. What was once the World Trade Center towers.
After that, we went to where we could see the Brooklyn Bridge. Now we've been walking. We'd been on our feet for something like 10 hours or 11 hours or something like that. Had I had more energy, I would have been happy to walk up the Brooklyn Bridge, but at that point we were too tired. But we looked up the Brooklyn Bridge, and it was neat to see that because it's such a famous landmark. After the Brooklyn Bridge, we went to Chinatown, and we found a restaurant, Joe's Chinese or something like that, and they specialized in these things called soup dumplings. And the idea behind the soup dumpling is a dumpling with the actual soup broth inside the dumpling. Oh, those were really good. I mean, I couldn't recommend that more. We went actually back to Times Square and saw Times Square lit up at night.
There we go. Those look like the penguins from Madagascar. Oh yeah, definitely Madagascar.
You know, it was after midnight. We had been we'd been on our feet for 14 hours. We were both tired. I had to get up early the next day to speak. So we took the train back from Manhattan to Bethpage, which is about a 50-minute ride. And then Charlie took me back to my hotel, and I pretty much went right to sleep.